Well, welcome back to another episode of the Utah Rental Property Insider.
Nailed it.
I'm one of your hosts, Nate Kilpack.
Parker Nelson.
Cool. Where you are, we're excited to jump into today's topic. It's a hot topic for those that own rental property. Maybe have a vacancy right now. They feel the pain. So we're going to go through what's actually happening with in the market right now. What's the slowdown, the reason for the slowdown, and what smart landlords should do right now to help with that.
Yeah. And if you're a tenant, this could be your time to take advantage of renting right now too. And if you're a landlord, we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to take the most advantage of getting your vacancies rented.
And yes, get them filled. So some stats first in the Utah market. So national market right now, vacancies are the highest they've been in probably over a decade. 7.2% is the total vacancy rate. So that's of all the properties they analyzed, 7.2% of them are currently sitting vacant. So I think it's up from right around 4% of last year, which was the highest. So
it's almost doubled. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then the median U.S. rent is down. This is over in the entire nation. It's down 1.1%. So not a whole lot, but if you own a rental property over the past 5 years or so, you were used to at least a 3% gain, if not 10 to 15% increase some of those years. So, So yeah, it feels quite a bit different now. And then average days to lease a unit nationally is 33 days. So that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So normally our goal when we manage properties is to get at least within around 14 days, that 14-day mark. And we're seeing slowdowns in our market as well. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, December kind of is that slow season anyway, but this has been one of the slowest seasons we've seen in a long time.
Yep.
Here in the Utah and Utah County, we're approaching that vacancy percentage of about 6 to 7%, which is what we're doubled from year over year. Along with that, rents are down 1 to 2%, which again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you're looking at almost $300 less or $200 less per month. And if your margins are only a couple $100, you could be losing your whole margin of income. But for renters, this could be a good time if you're living at home or you got your lease coming up and you're still tied into a lease that was a year ago. You could jump ship and get a rental for a couple $100 less than what you were getting last year.
Yeah, something that Mark Cunningham, who's a leader in the property management space, brought up is that for the first time ever, and he's been in the business for about 40 years, is that it's cheaper to go find a new rental property than it is to renew your lease. So most of the time, in a lot of leases, like a property manager or a landlord owner would have a built-in 3% increase on your lease. Tenants are able to negotiate that now. They're able to say, I want to stay at the same rate, or I'm out. And then property managers are like, okay, we'll for sure keep it at the same rate because they know that finding a replacement tenant at that same rate is a lot harder to do now. So
if it's going to take you 33 days, you're going to miss out on a whole mortgage payment basically, and that difference really won't even make up what you're going to make by charging the extra 3% for the whole year. And so
yeah, exactly. So Utah, Salt Lake, kind of metro area year is down.
So Nate, with all this slowing down, what else do you think plays a factor into the slowing of the market?
Yeah, a large portion of it for us over the past 5 years, there's been quite a few apartments built out. So we are in Orem. We cover all of Utah County. And so there's Orem Mall over here, and then over by UVU. And then there's been also a lot more construction by BYU with new units and the flats and the Riverwoods as well. So I think total units is estimated around 2,200 units, I think is what it was, added in the past 5 years for that specific class or group. So it's anywhere between 1 to 3 bedrooms. So that's going to be, students, kind of newlyweds, small families, things like that. So just adding that amount of units with not adding a whole lot of need, I guess, outside of like there's not like the campus populations aren't really growing at the same rate.
Yeah, when you see those apartment buildings coming up, I mean, honestly, you don't think much of it. You just think, okay, cool, new apartment buildings coming up. But as a landlord, I mean, that's each one of those apartment buildings about 200 plus units. So that's 200 units that we're losing out on single family homes, renting out a basement or a 2-bedroom home, or if you got a duplex, they're basically cutting those, offering newer amenities, newer units, and so it's hard to beat that. A lot of times with those two, they're offering a little bit more of like move-in incentives and things like that. So, which we are seeing a lot more people using move-in incentives. I think last month, like 30% of homes rented had to use some sort of incentive. Even for us, I mean, we just had to do that we're looking to do it with one of our units and drop in the rent almost $100 for a shorter lease term, which then would actually benefit us if we were to wait till January and somebody wanted to pay that full rent. We're still getting more back by lowering that rent. And so, yeah, that's one way as a landlord you can incentivize and get your unit rented, hopefully.
Yeah. And so one thing that we'd kind of advise is, so you have maybe a tenant that's their rent is going to be turning over in January. You're starting your process a lot earlier. So this is like one thing that smart landlords should do and focus on is their lease renewal process. So we always recommend having a lease at all times and not going month to month. Month to month just puts you at risk for any time that a tenant wants to move out. They can just give you a 30-day notice, and then you're on the hook to get them replaced, or else you're going to be out of revenue, and then struggle paying mortgage or whatever it is. And so, starting your lease renewal process a lot before, like we start ours 3 months before, and submit renewal offers to our current tenants. But we recommend doing the same. So starting 3 months at least before, and marketing the property. We usually market 45 days before a tenant moves out. And then we work with the tenants that are living there. Most are great to work with. We give them plenty of lots of notice beforehand and try to be careful of their time, and try to schedule like 1 or 2 showings or bring multiple people through to help that way. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is create as little overlap as possible between tenants, and with it like a lot harder to find tenants. It's important to minimize that gap and to start early.
Most landlords, for the most part, can't justify their rent enough because of their mortgage. But if you're a landlord we just go back to the incentives. I mean, offering, $100 off your first month, or a lower security. I wouldn't say a lower security deposit because you don't want to.
They have security deposit replacement programs though. So if you did want to do that, it's more like an insurance product. But those could work too.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, we've done even lowering pet rents for people who have pets and things like that. And so just ways that you can make it feel like you're incentivizing your tenant, to make your tenant feel like they're getting a deal, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel like they're getting a deal. And so if you're offering, $100 less, $50 less, or something like that, I mean, it's a good way to get your foot in the door.
Yeah. And it's just like a short-term thing. Typically in the wintertime, things slow down. Families definitely don't want to move during this time.
Right.
Kids going to school or whatever typically don't want to move during the middle of a semester either. So it's a slower time naturally. But if you do have to replace a tenant for whatever reason right now, something else to keep in mind or to be top of mind is response time. So you may get 1 or 2 leads. If it's a slow market, it's a property that usually has more than 3 bedrooms. It's going to take a little bit more time for you versus the 1 to 2 bedrooms. There's usually quite a bit of interest still, even in this kind of market, especially in downtown Provo or in parts of Orem. And there's not a ton of units like that up farther north, but it's around campuses is more what it is your total response time to get back to tenants. So if they message you, in the evening hours, you don't really want to respond, I'd recommend that you respond and just like give some acknowledgement to that, scheduling times when it's still convenient for you, but just giving a response, because usually it's the first property that they walk through that they like, and they could probably go find 5 right now. They would likely sign. So
we even just had one of our units that just got rented, that was her biggest feedback from the get-go. She's like, you guys replied the fastest, and that's just what got it done for us. I'm like, cool. I mean, that's what gets it done. That's what gets it done.
Yeah, for sure. People don't want to go shopping forever. It's like it's a place to live. They're basically looking for a certain geographical area and have the right amenities. So as long as you're checking those boxes, it's like, how easy are you as a landlord or a property management company to work with? And it's like they can foresee down the line if something comes up and you're not being really responsive on the leasing process, then that can be a red flag for them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's the holiday season. People are already stressed.
yeah.
They don't want to stress anymore about finding a place. So
They don't want to shop for weeks to find a place
Yeah.
when they could. Yeah, they just want to make a decision. So,
oh yeah. What are some things some smart landlords should do right now?
kind of plan for longer vacancies unless you've built all these strategies in place. Whether that's building into your financial cash flow model or being more flexible on leases. I'd say if you have, say, a tenant that's in a month-to-month that are saying like, hey, I'm leaving for whatever reason in the wintertime, then maybe consider doing either a shorter lease for someone so they're willing to sign to go into like the spring, summertime to renew. You can maybe do a small rent increase at that point, or doing a longer-term lease like 18 months and moving it into the same kind of time frame if they're willing for it. I mean, if it's something you can financially handle, which is maybe slightly lower rent, and doing a longer-term lease, that would protect you against the vacancy, but also get you into a time frame during the year when it's easier to rent.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and we've actually been getting that request a lot, the shorter lease, like a 6-month lease, which honestly for us is kind of more beneficial right now, because if you sign a year lease right now, then in a year you're stuck in the same spot.
Yep.
Trying to rent in a slow season. And so if somebody is interested in doing a lease till May, I mean, that's kind of better for you as a rental owner, because season's going to be a little bit different. You can charge a little bit more. More people are moving in and out at that time. School's out. Families are available to move. And so, yeah, consider a shorter lease. I mean, not saying go like a month to month until then, but 5-6 month lease could do you some justice.
Yeah, and setting expectations up front. So we always would recommend ending at least between May and August, just so that that's when school's ending, when school's starting. That's typically when families or when their students are moving around the most. And so, shortening the lease is definitely what we'd recommend and what we do. So a few other things to like keep in mind is checking your property. Like, is it in current, like, good, rentable, is it attractive to tenants that are coming to look at it? Like, does it have, chipped and peeling paint everywhere? Or does it have, are there things that are not functional about your property? Just keep those in mind and, make sure that's a part of your preventive maintenance to take care of the property along the way. So maybe you had a tenant for 5 years and you didn't touch the property and it was great, kind of out of sight, out of mind. But then there are deferred maintenance things that are coming up that it's like, now I got to take care of it. I got to take care of it so that it's going to attract tenants. But add that into your things to do to take care of as you're going along, instead of just all at the end, which will push out the timeline on finding good replacement tenants.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that's all we got for today. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more. We'll just be here to help guide you through your rental process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Till next time.
Till next time.
See ya.
Goodbye.